The character reveals to the Maoli that he's opening up the door to the demon realm. And the only way he can do that is by building a bridge from human lives. But there's not enough human lives to open up the door in this time period. So they have to take human lives from the other time period. The reason why the White Moonlight wants to open up the door to the demon realm is because him and his people are actually demons. And they want to return back home where they believe they will be safe and sound. The reason why they couldn't go before is because they have been banned, because their ancestor betrayed the demons for the gods. So they can never ever set foot in the demon realm no more. But the only way they can return is if they do this bridge thing. Which I don't understand why they're trusting the words of these demons, because these demons constantly watch them for centuries be repeatedly tortured and harmed. Do you really think you do what they say they're gonna actually keep their promise? Nah, honeys, nah. Losing their connection to the demon realm caused them to lose all of their powers and turned them into cauldrons, and more the generations pass, the stronger they become as cauldrons. The clan that was the worst to the White Moonlight's people was the cousin's Biodad's clan. His clan treated them like breeding stock. The females who would be born would be raised up to be breeding stock to produce more children and to be basically sold off to whoever paid the highest bid and whoever wanted to use their body to hire up their own convention. And the boys wouldn't even get to live. They would be turned into medicine. That is how horrible and vile this clan treated these people. The White Moonlight's mother, she seduces a disciple from the God's clan and convinces him, who is absolutely in love with her and willing to do anything for her, to save her people and get them out of this clan. And so he does exactly that, helps her and her people escape. He doesn't just help her escape, he gives her a disguise and helps her into his clan and helps her get a job working for his sack leader's wife, being the nanny to her child, which makes the child love her more than her own mother. Her mother was an abusive, horrible mother, so obviously she's going to choose her nanny over her mother. But yeah, this is not a good thing. White Moonlight's mother comes convinced that she should be the sack leader's wife, and so she goes out of her way to seduce him, has an affair with him, so she's cheating on her spouse, while also being his mistress, so helping him cheat on his wife, convinces him to divorce his wife and becomes his new wife. And guess what? Not long after this, both her lover and his ex-wife die. So she repays her lover, who did everything he could to help her, by getting rid of him and cheating on him. Yeah, I'm not rooting for this woman. The White Moonlight's mother, even though she set out to marry this man to pass laws to protect her people, we never actually hear about these laws being passed, or she putting any effort to actually pass these laws. She spends her days taking care of her stepdaughter and son and teaching her son the medical knowledge she learned from the sect that repeatedly abused her and her people. Yeah, she passes this knowledge down, but she never once does anything to actually help her people. At least that we're told of. White Moonlight's father starts becoming horribly ill and could possibly die from his illness, and he doesn't know why until the heavens come to him and tell him, because he's a child of the gods and his spouse is a child of the demons, this is a big no-no and is causing him to die. So the only way to stop his illness and death is by getting rid of his spouse, and that's exactly what he does in front of his child. For his own safety, his child runs away and ends up in the hands of the main character's aunt and uncle. And you know how he repays them? Yeah, we see how he repays them. These people do not understand how to repay the good people. Every time one of them gets saved and protected by someone, they repay that person in a horrible way. We see it with his mother, himself, with the main character's ex-wife. All three of them basically bites the hands that save them and protect them. We all know my ideology. My ideology is the belief You have not the rights to hurt others just because you were hurt. Yes, you could get revenge on the people who hurt you, but you shouldn't take your hatred and anguish on others who are not involved in your hatred and anguish, who were not involved in your abuse. You have not the rights to turn around and add more abuse into the world. You could get a little revenge for yourself onto the people who hurt you, but you can't turn around and do the same thing to others. You're just making the cycle go on. And that's literally what the White Moonlight is doing. He has hurt so many people from 2 different whole worlds to make his plan work. Him and the Melly get into a little spat about this, and he thinks he's so just, he's so right in causing so much suffering, hurt, and pain, taking so many lives to save his own people. He hasn't even realized he's become as bad as the people who hurt him and has hurt his people all these centuries, because he has. You can't sit there and say he hasn't. He has. He has caused so much hurt and suffering to innocent people, people who would have helped him if they knew, people who have helped him, and he's done this. He is no better than the people who repeatedly put his people down and used his people as slaves. White Moonlight, his plans is almost in fruition. He just needs the main character to kill a few more people so the bridge will be completed and they can open up the door. And the Mal Lead's like, yeah, I'm not going to let your plans be continued. He tries getting rid of the main character, and obviously the White Moonlight is trying to stop him. He's basically pleading and begging the Mal Lead. He's cursing at the Mal Lead over this. He tries telling the Mal Lead, hey, if you help me complete the bridge, then I will help you, quote unquote, save the main character, bring the current version of the main character back to you. And the Mal Lead tells him, yeah, no, I'm not selfish to choose my own happiness over the happiness and safety of others. I'm not going to put my wants and desires over the livelihood of an entire world. No, thank you. And so he tries getting rid of the main character. We go to where the cousin is, and at this point, a bunch of forces from the current time world came to this world to help fight against the main character and the White Moonlight, though they're all basically staying put. They're not really moving, and so he gets hissy and tired of they're not moving, so he continues on his own. Sooner or later, the twins catch up with him, and they see some illusions, like the cousins see illusion of the scene at the get-go of the book where his past self is talking to the main character's past self before the main character offed himself. Yes, he sees that whole scene, but it kind of confuses him and he doesn't understand it. He also sees the grave of his teacher, which also kind of terrifies him and upsets him. And he sees the way the main character is acting from the Mal Lead trying to get rid of him because they're far apart. I was a little confused about this. I don't know how everything was working at this part. I was basically entirely confused. And I was still confused, so I'm going to try to explain. So the cousin and the twins finally run up to the point where the Mal Lead and the White Moonlight is fighting. The cousin is horrified to learn the identity of the White Moonlight and watching his fellow disciple and teacher fight. Then they go to another location where the main character is, and the main character is upset and horrified that the Mal Lead tried to get rid of him. This is when the White Moonlight uses his opportunity to run off to finish off the bridge. And then the past selves of the cousin and the twins show up and tells the Mal Lead to chase after the White Moonlight while they fight the main character. They also send their younger selves off to a safer location because, again, they're little children. They're 20-something-year-olds and they're in their 30s. Like, which one should be fighting at this time? Not the 20-something-year-olds. Send them away.